Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to Day Traders Off the Record. This is episode 2 of the podcast. We have our guest and host here, a co-host, My Daily Gains, here with us today. And we're going to be just talking about a few topics in the trader world of the month of April. Lots of crypto hype, lots of NFT hype. We had the Coinbase IPO. Small caps were really weak for the first half, but they kind of just blew up second half. So we're going to be talking about that. And just having a discussion about trading and all things trading. So welcome back, My Daily Gains. Good to have you. How was your month of April? I mean, I know for long biased traders, it was quite difficult in the first half. But then thankfully we had some stocks like OCGN, BTX, and a few others that just really kicked it off for the volume. And yeah, so you as a short seller, how did you do for that first half? Was it like a record month for you, or how did that go?
Well, glad to be back on the show. Episode 2, exciting. And yeah, for me, April was a pretty interesting month. It wasn't a record month by any means, but if I'm looking back in my career, it's probably somewhere in that top 5 months range.
Nice.
And yeah, it's pretty cool. And it's one of those situations when the setups are working, you want to put your foot on the gas. You want to maybe use a little bit more size responsibly. You're not going to double or triple down overnight, but you're going to grow slowly and take a little bit more risk, increase my risk per trade and increase my max daily loss as I'm on this hot streak. And yeah, I'm very happy with the month and looking forward to kick off a new one in May. Hopefully keep this momentum going. How about you? How was your April? I know it was a slow start for the longs, right? But you had a few ones in the end of the month. You had a few ones.
Yeah, I had a few really good trades in the last 2 weeks of the month. It ended up being my second largest month of 2021. So not bad. I mean, we're 4 months into the month, second best month. Can't complain too much. It was tough in the first 2 weeks. There was no follow through anywhere whatsoever. Every trade I would take was either a small loss or break even. And it was discouraging a lot of people, like a lot of traders who kind of trade with my style, and just traders overall on like Twitter and social media. So yeah, lots of traders on social media and on Twitter have just been really saying it's a scalper's market. You have to go for small gains and small wins. And for me personally, that's not my approach. Like for me, when it comes to trading, my entire goal is just to trade my system, not to kind of adapt to what's happening today in the current market. Mainly because my goal isn't to make a profit every single day, right? The main goal I have is just to trade my system and let the long run profits just come through. If you have a mindset of wanting to make profits every single day and wanting to make green every single day, then it's very easy to be hit with a slow market and say, okay, well now I have to scalp. And I mean, that maybe works for some people. In my mindset, it doesn't really work, because then you're always kind of chasing what the market's kind of doing. And when the market has it switch back to being a strong market and has massive rips like OCGN and BTX, you'll still be stuck in that mindset of scalping, and then you'll miss that tenfold move, which could make your entire month profitable. So yeah, for me, the first 2 weeks was very weak. I took a lot of small losses, a lot of break-even trades, but just with my experience, and I've just been through this, I know that I have to just keep sticking to it and keep taking the trades. One way that I do reduce my risk is just to reduce my size. When I notice that the market's just kind of weak, the volume's not there, and the plays are just kind of dead, I still want to take the trades that I see, even though I know they're most likely going to be losers. But what I do is just reduce my size to just reduce that risk I'm taking on. And then when I see the market, have that huge hit, then I size it up right away and just use the same trades, use the same strategies. So that's what I've done. And like I said, the first 2 weeks, I mean, let me pull up my trading view right now Cause like if I look at this, like legit, the first 2 weeks is just red days, red days, red days. Let me check real quick.
It's kind of funny how when you're sizing down, I'm sizing up.
Oh yeah, I know, right?
And, and
It's because we're
that's
direct opposites. I mean, it's a good thing.
exactly.
That kind of means that we're both doing the right thing in a sense, right? Because if you are a short seller and I'm
Yeah.
a long trader, we
Yeah.
have to be doing opposites to like both be
Yeah.
performing at our best.
And there were days where I was trading OCGN and VXRT, and I'm seeing people in Trade Buddy saying that they're long at this price and that price, and I know that when a
Yeah,
couple of
yeah,
those people are
exactly.
long, I'm breaking a sweat, because
Yeah.
they have conviction, but
Yeah, so
keeping the risk tight though.
so looking at my data right now, my largest red day was on April 16th, $400.50.
It's not bad.
Not bad. My average loss was like about $200 each day. My largest green day was about $5,500. So it's that concept of, yeah, you can adjust how you trade depending on what the market does. However, like when I've done that, like whenever I would try to go for scalps instead of going for the big trades, whenever the big trades would come around, I would just miss them completely and not be in the right mindset to go for that large potential, because I've been scalping and that's what I've been going for, trying to make nonstop green trades. And that's why to me, win rate doesn't matter. Like if I look at my like this month's win rate, I mean, I can tell you right now it's less than 50%. I know for a fact. My win rate this month, 38% winning trades, 61% losing. My average winning trade was 1,000, and my average loss was $95. So, I mean, the numbers work out in the end. That's all that matters, right? Like all that matters is that the numbers work out in the end, and that's just the most important thing. So yeah,
I think it's important that people hear that, because a lot of newer traders, especially, they struggle with the concept of just sitting on hands and doing nothing. So people should really listen to what you're saying here, because it's proof that you need to just stick to your system. And when the market starts coming back around, then there's plays like BTX, and BTX off of that, I think it was 27-ish, if I'm not mistaken.
$27 I went long at, 27.80.
Yeah. Off of that level, it's textbook Tony Ivanov.
Yeah.
And if you look at the, what was it, 3-year or 10-year, something like that, the potential was just insane. And I think the available shares to trade on that one was maybe like 1 million. It was also targeted by Wall Street Bets. I just found out recently.
Was it really? Oh, that helps for
sure. And I didn't even know that.
I didn't know that at all. I don't really follow Wall Street Bets anymore after, GME.
I saw an article recently. So I think, they had tried SOS, and
that was never gonna work, dude. Oh my gosh, that was never gonna work.
Yeah, but every now and then,
the worst one they could target, just because of how many warrants they had overhead waiting. BTX was a good one though. I'm not even sure what the float of BTX was. Like I think it was about 38 million share outstanding, so the float had to be less than that. I'm actually making a YouTube video. Well, it's made. I just have to post it. Just covering my BTX trade. So if you're watching this or you're listening to this, make sure to go to my YouTube and watch that lesson to see how I traded BTX from the 2780s, and I sold my highest at like 44. It did go higher a few days later. Like I ran to like $79.
Yeah, and after hours.
Yeah, and after hours it ran to 79 on that day 2 reversal, which that trade on the second day I missed completely. Like this Friday, dude. Yeah. I don't know what happened to me. I was just, like Friday mindset, end of the month. I was just kind of lazy and I didn't see the potential in that BTX reversal. So I missed out on that run from 30 to 80 completely. So
and I think pre-market we had Aston tell our members to
he was looking
to keep it on, because it didn't dip down to 27 again, but it was close enough where you know that dip buyers were lining up with their starters. And
Exactly.
that's like a concept that you've also um, spoke about with our community. And
Yeah.
it's not always going to be the exact price to the penny, but it's just a general area.
Well, that
So
higher level on
yeah,
BTX was actually, if you look at the chart on when I traded it, when it held support at 27.80, the resistance on the little pullback was $30, and that's where it held the
right,
next higher level of support on that day two reversal. That's why it held 30 and not 27.
right,
So it was just a
right,
textbook chart that I just wasn't in the right mindset to trade, because those day two reversals, they're not really my main setup. I really like to trade new stocks, new first green days. So when it comes to kind of identifying those larger reversals after its first red day, I just don't really focus on it, and I need to, because as you saw, BTX, it provided an awesome opportunity from 30s to $80. I mean, that's a home run trade. But still,
yeah,
overall, it was a really good month. Obviously, there's things I could improve on. I need to just be sizing up more. That's the main thing I'm kind of slacking on doing, is sizing up more. And that just has to do with, I don't know, just psychological, I guess. Um,
yeah. It's not it's harder than people think, to be honest. And something that I've been doing for a few months now, and specifically for April, it's going to help me go into May and onward. I'm keeping track of basically a percentage, like of the overall days. What percentage of the time or what percentage of the days did I follow? I have like 9 or 10 rules,
mm,
and every single day there's a green box for if I followed that rule, or a red box for if I broke it. And obviously every single day you try to make sure that you follow those 10 rules, but every now and then maybe the loss goes like a couple dollars more against you that it should, or maybe I use a couple hundred more shares than I should according to rules, so
yeah.
that counts as a rule broken.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the month I'll look back and say, okay, this rule I followed it 93% of the time, that's very good. This rule I followed 85% of the time, 90%. There's a few I followed 100% of the time. And if there's a rule that I followed, like say 75% of the time, I'll really try to hone in on, well, what's going on here? How come I broke that rule, 3 out of 4, 1 out of 4 times, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of like a part of the journaling process. So it'll make you aware of what bad habits you need to cut out heading into your next month. So looking forward to Monday.
Yeah, I mean, dude, trading is all about habits, right? And we say it all the time. It sounds so cliche. Like we talked about this last episode too, but if you have a hard time honing in on your trading habits and your trading discipline, the easiest way to like just reinforce that concept is to build discipline outside of trading. Like, I mean, maybe I'm alone on that thought. I don't know, but like I've said this before, where my trading really became a lot more disciplined, and I wasn't breaking as many rules as often. I wasn't, getting emotional and just trading like a doofus, was when I would kind of take care of other parts of my life discipline wise, right? Just maintaining the habit of taking my dog on a run every day at the same time, taking care of, how I treat my body, right? Working out is a really good thing in my opinion for traders, because you have to kind of build the discipline to do things that you might not want to do in the moment, but it's going to benefit you later on. Like with trading, you might not want to follow that rule right now because you want to take that trade right now. You want to chase that stock right now, but you know that if you do that, it's going to be devastating to you, right? Like if you have that huge piece of cake, it might taste good now, but you're going to not like it in a few hours when you feel sick, So I mean,
Yeah.
um, you've been doing really good though in terms of your discipline. Like you've always been a very disciplined trader, in the sense that you come into the market, you have your watch list set early in the morning, you know what you want to trade, and you take those trades and you follow the plan almost perfectly. Like I'm not sure if I've ever seen a day where you have like a massive blow up mainly because you broke your rules. Like, have you even had like a huge loss before because of breaking your rules in terms of like your short selling? Like, has it happened to you before?
Well, not so much in recent history, but if we go back to the last episode, I think I explained something about summer 2018
Oh yeah,
having
yeah,
the pretty much a four-figure loss.
yeah.
And
That's very
yeah,
minuscule in the grand scheme of trading, though, you know. So it's good that you took that loss
yeah,
early on.
no, yeah, exactly. No, like account blowups or things like
Nothing
that.
recent, though, right?
No, I mean, like in the month of April, for example, like there are some trades where I lost what used to be considered like my max daily loss, maybe even 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I would lose that in the month of April. I'd lose that on one trade, like even on, I forgot if it was VXRT or OCGN, like when it busted through $10 and I was in heavy from like 980s, 990s, and I couldn't cover at the low tens because it just ripped to like 1040, 1060. So I wanted to get that pullback to cover in the low
Yeah.
tens to minimize the damage, but I simply just couldn't. Had to get out, and it was like that loss was what used to be my max daily loss. But at the same time, I had like another trade or maybe two other trades going on at the same time that were working. So it kind of just it's a balancing act. And even if I was small red or break even by let's say 10:30 in the morning, I think later in the afternoon came back, hit a late day fade, and ended the day green.
Hmm.
So it's a matter of keeping yourself calm and composed throughout that process. And just because I took a big loss on OCGN or VXRT, whichever one it was, doesn't mean that I'm going to fear taking my proposed setup the next day. Like on Friday,
Right.
I was in Pixie, PIXY, pretty heavy, risking low fours. And even though it hit 410, I had fishing orders going all the way up to 409. And someone in the community was asking, well, how come you didn't stop out like as soon as it hit four? It's because, and you talk about it on the flip side on your strategies, but I'm only going to cut that loss if four proves to hold, right?
Right.
If it's just a quick spike and fail, that's exactly what I want, actually. And I had
Yeah, it's the
ads
best way to
as
get
high as
filled, you
409.
know. Now
Yeah, that's what.
that was on Friday, right?
Yeah,
Or
and I held all the
so
on
that was
Friday,
on
and
day two of its move
day
where it
two,
just
yeah,
had that massive rip up to four out of nowhere,
exactly.
right?
And yeah, and four was it hit four. I forgot if it was after hours or pre market. It hit four,
It hit four and
and on
after
the
hours, and then day
yeah,
two it tested support, had a
yeah,
little like test of VWAP, and then it just squeezed up to four again. Tried trapping the shorts
exactly.
again. You're lucky it didn't break out because I was holding my shares for that breakout.
Yeah, and if it did, it would have been another like large loss.
Yeah,
But like in the month of April, if I'm swinging bigger, then I could also expect that I'm gonna take a loss that's bigger. But
yeah,
it's not the kind of loss that's gonna blow your account. It's just
yeah.
it's all relative to the current streak you're on. And I spoke about it last episode, but take a 22 moving average of your green days, you multiply that figure by two. So like my max daily loss, the figure actually went up by almost double, like which means that I was able to risk almost twice as much as I would have maybe 3 to 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So, and it feels good. It feels good to do that because you gradually you're building confidence along the way, and the growth of your trades becoming larger is gradual, and it's not like if I just went in with 10,000 shares tomorrow, I think one uptick against me, I'd be panicking because
Yeah, you just
I'm
be
not there
scared
yet.
immediately. Yeah. Yeah,
So yeah,
you brought up something that very important when it comes to trading with like a system. Essentially it's what we do, right? Like we trade systems. Where you said even though you took that big loss relative on OCGN, you weren't afraid the next day to take that same setup on PXY. And like I felt that all first 2 weeks of April, dude. And that's just how it is, right? I never want to let the fact that I lost on one trade make me not have confidence to take that trade again. Because I mean we both like use data within our trading, and we both know that even if one is a loss, even if 5 are losses, one of them will be a winner. And as long as we stick to the strategy, that winner will wipe out the losses, and it's green in the end, right?
Yeah. And because I like, obviously there's long bias traders in Pixie that were well positioned from the previous day or whatever, but there's also many traders that were maybe buying 380s, 390s, buying 4, hoping for 4 plus on the moon. So as soon as that 410 candle flushes and it's 370 in the next second or two, those late chasers are bagged, and that gives me confidence to hold till as low as the 330s.
Sure. Yeah.
So
yeah, for every trader who trades like me, there's 10 that buy at the very top and bag hold. So
yeah, and that's what causes the ups and downs, and it's just it's fun stuff. And speaking about ups and downs, day one of Coin IPO was absolutely wild. That was
crazy. The entire lead up to Coin IPO was just so ridiculous. Like, there's a famous quote by Warren Buffett. I don't know exactly how it goes, but it's like, you want to buy when everyone's fearful and sell when everyone's greedy. Like, it's something along those lines. I don't know what the exact quote is, but like, the hype around Coinbase IPO, like for the first 2 weeks leading up to it, like, you noticed how much it was hyped up, right? Like, everyone was asking me every day after the webinars, what do you think about Coin? What do you think about Coin? And like, it was all over Twitter. It was all over mainstream media. Like, the week prior to their IPO, well, not IPO, the listing.
It's a direct,
let's be specific, because we'll have someone comment on that. Like the week leading up to their listing, they announced the revenues was like up 400% that quarter because of, Bitcoin rallying, and everyone's super hyped up about that. And then a few days prior to their listing, NASDAQ said the reference price was 250. So everyone's hyped up about that. Just, there was so much hype leading into this listing that, to me personally, it was kind of a no-brainer that, okay, I don't want to play this. Because if everyone thinks that it's going to be like a sure trade and everyone thinks it's going to go up, what edge do you have, right? If everyone is sure about one thing, then you have to do the opposite. Like back
that's actually what I
did. Yeah, exactly. So like back in 2018 when Bitcoin was first popping off, and everyone was talking about Bitcoin, like it's the new thing. My grandma was talking about it, and she doesn't even speak English. Like, she's in Russia, and she was talking about it. I had a Lyft driver who asked me about it. Like, everyone was on the Bitcoin hype.
When it was 20,000, right? When it was at that high?
Just reaching 20K, It broke 20K. Oh my gosh. It was all over the news. Everyone's buying into it. And then that was the top of that rally. Now I know it's not the top now because it's at 60K or so now, but it's just kind of how the market works, where
I think there was a dip as we record this, 57.
It's at 57K right now. Nice.
And I think it went down to like sub 50 briefly.
Yeah, it did. It had a little panic after the Coinbase listing, actually. I kind of said that, well, now that we're having all this hype, like now with this listing, I kind of expect that we'll see overall sell-off on the crypto market. And like, Coinbase listed, they popped up to like, 318, went to the low of, what was it yesterday?
Yeah, I think it opened at 380.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
And the opening, I remember because I traded it.
Yeah, it ran to like the 420s in the first 5 minutes. And I was in this one chat room, like a huge public chat room, and just watching all these people who are obviously newbie traders, right? They're just novices, they don't know what they're doing. As it's running up, everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's gonna go, I'm buying and buying and buying. This one guy said that he bought like 100 shares at like 420, and then like as it started to collapse and really just sell off, drop down through 400, down through 380, down through the opening price, and then everyone's like, this is a scam, what's going on, how could you predict this? It's like, dude, like if everyone is so sure about one thing, then you need to have that kind of view, the contrarian view, I think it's called, where you have to like understand, if everyone's in it, then you need to be either selling it like you did or just get out of it, right? So I mean, it's
Yeah.
been crazy, right? The whole thing was just so BS how it was so hyped up about, coin, and then it just flopped as expected.
Yeah. The high day was, I think it was
Yeah,
429.54.
something like
And
that. Yeah.
what's crazy is that I had a fill at 429 even.
Wow.
And I had a like 420 and 424 and 429. And just like tiny size because it's outside of my niche and it's like day one. So
Yeah.
it's probably maybe a trade I shouldn't have even taken in hindsight because it's just, day one, there's no history. But
You had an edge though, for
uh
sure. You saw
yeah,
the edge and you took it.
yeah, and just a little bit of a tape reading play and looking at all those things. And I was ready to cut loss and if 430s were to hold.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have been a minor loss because it was just you size according to the financial instrument that you're trading. But yeah, I held all the way to 330s, which is
That's awesome. So that was a pretty
pretty
good
wild.
trade for you, huh?
Yeah, that was a nice day. But yeah, the price was supposedly going to be 250. I think you mentioned. So
Yeah, that was
the
like the
fact that
reference price by Nasdaq.
which is weird, yeah, and the fact that it opened at 380 got people too excited, right?
Yeah.
And um, I don't know what the lows were, but are you guys still considering 250 as a
I'm
dip buy
yeah.
or?
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, it's like one of those psychological things, right? Where the only level that we
Yeah,
have to base off of is that reference price by Nasdaq 250. And I'm sure that there are millions of orders stacked at 250 waiting for that dip. So maybe it'll bounce to 260. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, once it can get down there, I'm fairly confident that we'll see a bounce off that level of support. Like, it's almost a no-brainer play at that point, right? Because it opened up at 380, sells off to the 250s. That's a drop of what, 70, 60%? I don't know the math. It's a big drop, right?
right.
And buyers will be there. Support will be there.
It's 297 at close, and it was a low of 282 at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. What's
So
the lowest it's gone so far?
282 it looks like.
282.
Yeah, so
It's
it's
getting
getting
there.
it's getting
It's
it's
getting
getting there.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you actively? I think maybe a few years ago you dabbled with crypto trading, just generally speaking. Is that something that you still do on the side here and there, or more just focusing on stocks?
I have a pretty wild history with crypto and Bitcoin. Yes, I used to trade. That's how I kind of blew up on YouTube, was from my crypto videos, like during the hype
Yeah,
of Bitcoin. Like one of my like top viewed videos is how to day trade on Binance, and it has like 600,000 views. So I was really propelled by that, which I didn't really like because I don't really trade crypto that much. So it was kind of a weird thing for me. Then some things happened in my personal life where I don't want to like hop into it like here, but it made me not want to trade crypto anymore.
yeah,
So like between 2018 to like 2021, the beginning of 2021, I just ignored it completely. I didn't want to touch it. I didn't want to trade it. I didn't want to hold it. And during like that last half of 2020, it ran from what, like 10K to above like 30K. And then I was like, all right, I'm being dumb. I'm being emotional. I don't want to let like the past make me miss this opportunity. So then I did hop into the big three, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. Um, and I was kind of trading altcoins. The largest trade I had within the altcoin sector was on GRT. And this is a funny one because it was called the Graph. Like that's the coin's name. It's called the Graph. And I was just on Binance looking at, all these altcoins, and I saw the graph of the graph. I was like, wow, this looks like a really good graph, right? It is holding very clear previous resistance as new support at like 33 cents. I'm like, this is kind of a no-brainer trade for me. This is what I would take in small caps, right? It's like a no-brainer trade for me. So I bought like, I think I bought like 20,000 coins of it, with like a 33-cent average. And that thing ran, I think it was a high of $2.70. I sold half my position at $1 because, you know, round number, why not? And it just kept on going. It just kept on trucking, kept on going. It ran up to like, I'm pretty sure the high was like 270s or 370s. I can't remember, but I sold most in the twos. So that was like a massive trade for me. I'm pretty sure my largest like, swing trade ever was on that crypto. Yeah, so I just used those funds and I put them into Bitcoin in like the 40s, the 40,000 area, and now I'm just holding that. I have a Dogecoin that I bought at like 8 cents, I think. Not a lot, just kind of leftover that was in the wallet. And I actually have a referral link from Binance, like that one video I had that had, you know, 600,000 views on it. I had a referral link to it, like to sign up for Binance. And what happens with that link, when someone uses that link to sign up for Binance, like whenever they trade, I get like 20% of their commissions from that coin. Like, so meaning if they had traded Doge back in 2018, I got 20% of their commission from Doge, which meant I forgot about this whole account for the past 3 years. I didn't even know I had money in there at all. And I just signed into Binance one day, you know, back in the beginning of this year, and I saw I had a lot of coins just sitting in there that had grown exponentially from its run up back in late 2020. So that was awesome. I cashed that out. Yeah, I cashed that out real quick, took it out of Binance, and yeah, now just holding, you know, some Bitcoin, lots of Ethereum right now because that's like the best one, like to me, in my opinion. Yeah, I've been kind of in it here and there. Most important thing, if you're trading crypto, make sure you pay your taxes because they are gonna find it. There's no way to hide it, you know, nowadays. If you're watching this and you trade crypto, make sure that you pay those damn taxes.
Somebody asked me about that recently, and yeah, this one of my good friends actually, he puts I don't know, $500-600 into one of these sub penny random coins, and then he gets tweeted by a famous rapper, and
oh my gosh,
it's getting pumped and this and that, and then he's texting me saying, "Oh, I'm up $8,000." Asking about taxes, asking if you should sell this and that, and of course I'm like, yeah, you should sell some and then hold some. And he's like, no, I want to hold. Okay, well, you know, do what you want, you know. And I said, just out of curiosity, what if this ever gets listed on I guess Binance or one of the exchanges there, what will your position be worth? And he says 27 million. And I said, okay, well, best of luck to you. I'm hoping it works out for you, because then you could you know, you could fund my next trading account and you could act as my prop firm. I'll trade $1 million and I'll give you 30%, you know?
Yeah, that'd be a sweet deal, huh?
So, yeah, it's definitely, I think crypto in general, it's bringing a lot of new faces into the game of trading in general.
Oh, for sure.
But I think some people have like high expectations of what they want their trade or investment to do. And I think people need to be careful about those expectations and manage those expectations.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally possible to find like really good cryptos that will likely explode in the next 5-10 years. Like even like Binance coin, which is the coin that's by Binance. Like, so the commission that I would get was a split of Binance coin and the coin that they traded. So like that made me a killing because I had a lot of Binance coin from like, I think average of like $15. Not like a lot, but just a lot of free coin that I had relative to what it is now. I think Binance coin is at like $600. Yeah,
that's crazy.
It ran from like just this year. I think in January it was in the 30s, and ever since then it just had skyrocketed. I'm pretty sure it was propelled by the Coinbase IPO, to be honest. It was like hyped up like by that listing because they're also a competitor, and it ran from like $30. I mean, let me see real quick. It ran from like $30, and now it's at $621. And at the beginning of this month or this year, it was at like $36.
So you were accumulating some of this without even really knowing. Yeah. And that instrument was increasing in its
pretty insane stuff. I mean, I was lucky, I guess, you know. I made that video at the right time when it was hyped up. I had that link in there in the description, and it just printed, you know. Pretty
Yeah.
cool. But yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, when it comes to, you know, trading crypto, it's just like stocks where the ones that are most obvious probably won't be the big winners for you, at least in the near term. Like if
Right.
you're a new trader and you're trying to make a lot of money, you shouldn't be looking at Bitcoin. You shouldn't be looking at Ethereum unless you have like a sizable amount of capital. Then it makes sense. But if you want to see gains quickly, altcoins are the way. You know, like I said, the one trade that had the graph, that was an awesome trade just based off of fundamentals, like technical analysis, you know. Yeah, there's nothing that I knew about the company at all. I didn't know what the coin did. I didn't know like what its purpose was. I just saw the chart. I was like, this is a nice chart. It's a nice graph, you know. It was kind of funny how the name of the coin was the same reason that I traded it, you know. So just kind of a funny story for me.
Yeah,
And
people buy coins just based on the name
yeah,
sometimes too, which is it's not.
yeah, there was actually
No,
a
there's
coin
yeah.
that was made recently by this like guy on Twitter. It was called Scam Coin, and he made it in like 40 minutes. And he announced, "Hey, this is a scam. Like, I don't have any purpose for this coin at all." And like he listed it on some small like place exchange, and within the first 40 minutes, I think it was, it pumped up to a like market value of I think like $87 million, like out of nowhere. Like
That's wild.
obviously he didn't make any money on it because that's not sure if he was even holding any position at all. But then of course really it like dumped afterwards. But yeah, people will chase these things just off of hype and off of the name.
Yeah.
So
And
altcoins are a really good place in my opinion if you want to trade, but of course pay your taxes.
oh yeah, there's definitely volatility there. And there's one guy who, he was a 14, 15 year day trader veteran in the small cap game. And because of where he moved to and where he lives, he's gravitated towards crypto, and he's doing better than ever, like in terms of daily and monthly gains and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm
But
sure the COVID hype definitely, it was like a perfect storm, right? Like we talked about this last episode, where having COVID happen and the lockdown happen at the same time as like as everything caused everyone just to stay at home and say, okay, what do I do now? I can't go to a casino. I
yeah,
can't have any fun. What should I do with all this money I'm saving up? And you know, trading in crypto was like the perfect storm from all that. So it's definitely provided a lot of opportunities. Some people think that the crypto market is hurting the stock market in terms of like liquidity, which could be true. I could definitely see that, but at the same time, we've seen stocks that trade like $5 billion of volume in like a single day. So I don't know if it hurts that much.
yeah. I'm not too worried about that, especially in the small cap sector. There are always going to be stocks that are making big moves, attracting big volumes. There's always going to be these, manipulators, these algos, and these games. And there's always going to be some of those components that just don't exist in crypto, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to be all right in that regard. And talking about wild stuff, what are your thoughts on NFTs? I know when the NFT thing came out, when it was first brought to light, companies that were getting involved in that industry or claiming to get involved in that industry, like TCAT and TKAT, and I forget the other one, like OCG. I don't know. There was another one.
Yeah, I think it was OCG was
Uh,
one of them. There was a lot of them. I mean,
yeah,
it happens with anything that's hyped up. Like whenever there's a new hype in the public space, you will
yeah,
always see small caps say, "Oh, we're getting into that." You know, "Oh, yeah, now we're doing that too." It happened with weed back in 2016. It happened with Bitcoin
blockchain,
first. Yeah, blockchain back in 2018.
coronavirus. Everybody was
Oh
making a
my
vaccine.
gosh, yeah, dude, like it always happens. And the funny thing is that you will see some long-term winners from those hypes. Like for example, a blockchain, like back in 2016 or like 2017, 2018, we had Mara, which had moved into blockchain. We had Riot that moved into blockchain. And now if you look at those charts, they have like they've actually been huge
Mhm.
winners. They've like been amazing long-term swings. I think Mara is now in like the 60s, Riot's up there in the 60s as well. And back in 2018, they were just small cap stocks that we used to trade.
Yeah. Or NVAX, like that's more the coronavirus stuff,
Yeah,
but NVAX and Moderna and all
yeah,
those,
like
like
we
these were
traded
small
those
caps,
stocks as small caps just last
shorting
year.
it at $5.
Yeah, I know, right? And
Yeah,
they've been actually big long-term winners. So we could definitely see the
good for
same
them.
thing with NFTs, where a lot of stocks will be kind of hype and
Yeah.
pump and dumps, but there might be some that do last and they
Well, I
do
mean,
see
TCAT,
long-term. Yeah, I
TCAT
mean,
is holding up in the 30s and 40s or
yeah,
whatever it is. It's
it's been killing it. So,
yeah.
but it happens with all hypes. Like no matter what happens in the world, you will always see a flock of small caps say, "Hey, we're in that now too," you know. So it's just
And
kind
I
of
love
funny to
that.
see.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
But with the actual technology or whatever the NFT actually is, would you buy one?
Dude,
As,
I don't even understand them, to be honest. Like, I mean, I've been kind of arrogant and not really looked into it because I don't really care that much. But
yeah.
just on like the surface value, I just don't understand it. Like, I was kind of thinking about it in the shower today actually because I knew we were gonna have this question. But I was thinking like say you have an NFT of someone's tweet. How do you verify that the person who made that tweet is selling that like thing? Like what's stopping anyone from taking a screenshot of that tweet and saying, "Hey, NFT for this tweet, come buy it." I mean, I guess it's the same thing for like paintings. You can take a like picture of a painting and say, "Hey, picture of a painting here." It's not the real one, but like I just don't get it, man. Like it seems like a cool idea. Like I've seen that there's been some companies who will make a listing and they will make an NFT of their like first trade that happened. I'm pretty sure that Coinbase did that. With their listing, they made an NFT of the first trade that happened on the market, which is kind of
Oh yeah.
funny. Um, I, in my opinion, it's probably very overhyped, right? Like the whole sector has just been everyone's buying it just because it's the new hot thing. So that'll probably die down, but the technology behind it probably is going to stay and have a really good use case in the future. Like just like how with blockchain, when blockchain was first kind of the big thing, a lot of altcoins rallied just because they were based on blockchain. But a few
Mhm.
did last because their use case was kind of valuable. And I think with NFTs will be the same thing, where a lot of them being hyped up right now just because it's the hot new thing, everyone's bored, want to throw the money around, and most of them will probably be not worth anything after a few years, maybe. I don't know, right? I'm not in the sector. But the actual use case of having a non-fungible token for some like piece of art or some piece of music, I think it could help creators, you know, monetize their stuff a bit better. I don't
Yeah,
know.
for
What do you
artists,
think
I
about
think
them?
yeah, I haven't done that much research on the subject, but I think it could benefit people in the arts and entertainment
Yeah.
world. Um, but I mean, I don't know. I think there's a lot of people that they might have too much money on their hands to be able to, I don't know, drop $80,000 on a file, like as you said, which could just easily be replicated with a screenshot.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
I mean, maybe it's the same thing as art because there are people who drop millions of
yeah,
dollars on art and you know, you can buy a
yes,
replica of that art, but it's not the original. I just don't know enough about it to really understand like what is stopping someone
yeah,
from making like another token of the same exact thing. I
yeah.
guess it just has a different address and that's the thing that verifies it. I mean, I would
So
love to
then
learn more
maybe
about it. If we had a guest who was in that sector, that'd
yeah,
be kind of cool
yeah. I was
for
just
them
gonna
to
say maybe
explain.
somebody who knows something or knows a lot about this, drop a comment below
Yeah.
on YouTube. If
Yeah,
it's on
feed us.
Spotify, then reach out another way.
Yeah, you can feed
But
us some info about it because I mean,
yeah,
yeah, my main angle of it has just been trading the small caps that are based around it. And the
yeah,
hype has kind of died down a lot. I feel like it was really big in like the beginning of April or like late March, I think. And there are a few stocks beginning of April that were kind of about it. But I think it was
yeah.
mainly late March, right? I
Yeah, it was. OCG was a very, very, very difficult stock to trade. I don't think I traded TCAT when it first started
Mm.
going wild. No locates too expensive, that sort of thing. But in the last week or two, like, yeah, I think I got it from that $40 push the other afternoon down to 37s and after hours, just like a
Mm.
late afternoon, low volume kind of push with no news. So
Yeah. Yeah, and we've been
uh,
seeing some small caps drop news about how they're getting into NFT now, and like nothing really happens off it now. Like I think the new hype that it brought, people are kind of like, all right, who cares? NFT, yeah, so what?
it's old news. It's like
Yeah,
when someone says they're trying to make the coronavirus vaccine. It's like, yeah, we have a couple of people already doing that. Thank you very much. But
yeah, but there was OCGN that
there was
didn't,
OCG.
so
Yeah,
you never know. There could be another TCAT that comes around in the NFT space that just blows
that's
up.
right.
Never know.
We'll never say never. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, just wondering, I guess, for viewers and for members, is there anything cool and upcoming coming to the Trade Buddy community in the near future, or anything that we're working on that we want to share besides this
I've
podcast?
uh I've been like working on making a new course because the one I made in like right now I think was filmed in 2018, either 2018 or 2019, so it's kind of dated. Um, I've kind of made it a much larger project than it needs to be, and I'm like treating it as such a big thing to deal with, and it's kind of been discouraging me to like get going on it. So I don't know. I'm trying to get going on that, but there's a lot of steps. I have to like make the script, which I'm working on right now, and then hire an
Mhm.
editor for it and make it super high quality. So I've been kind of pushing towards that. That's like the main thing I'm working on, like in terms of the actual uh, the program. Um, as far as anything else, I'm also developing or like trying to develop a new Slack bot, which would basically just help us identify float values like float, market cap, percent share short. So I've been spending the past few weeks trying to learn Python. I've never used Python before, so I'm like learning all the basics about it. But basically, it would be a Slack bot where you could just type in a slash command and then have the ticker symbol next to it, and it would pull from FinViz, Yahoo Finance, all the different websites, like to
Flow
tell
checker,
you,
good one.
yeah, basically like float checker, but within Slack bot, so then it would just tell us, what's the float, because we have so many people who always ask, hey, what's the float of this, and they could just use the Slack bot for that. So that'd be kind of cool. And once that bot's developed, I think we could also make some different use cases for it too, like maybe make it post charts or post other values that might be helpful, because I know that lots of people use Webull, and Webull's VWAP
Yeah.
is trash. It's like it doesn't use pre-market volume in its calculations, so it's usually very far off on first screen day stocks. So if it could like tell you like where the TOS VWAP was, that'd be kind of cool, I think. But other than that, not really too much in the works. Just been grinding out the webinars, helping people as I can. Once that new course is finally developed and finalized, and like I'm done with that big project, I do want to probably consider um, training people who are in TradeBuddy now to do like onboarding calls for people who join the lifetime program, and like have like monthly calls with them to like make them stay on track. I don't want to do that all myself because that's a lot of work for me. But if I have people who are trusted and they know their stuff, then I think that that'd probably be a very big benefit for new traders, because I know that when you join a program, it's a lot of stress to like stay on top of it, and you might get discouraged. But if you had someone there who's like your trade buddy, who would like call you, say, hey, how you doing, like what are you working on right now, like what are you struggling with, and have that kind of nagging support on you, would be a big
Yeah.
benefit, I think, to people.
And people, they underestimate how much that is important. It's not something to embark on alone. It's good to find somebody, or could be two or three people or whatever, but at least to have somebody that you speak to
Yeah.
quite regularly about your progress, and to make sure that you're not going on a revenge trading
Oh yeah.
bender or whatever. Like, yeah, having that support would really be helpful to
Yeah,
a lot
lots
of
of
people
people
for
are
sure.
kind of nervous to approach me, I guess, because I'm like the head honcho. So if I had people who were like trusted in the like room that they could kind of reach out to and be their
Yeah.
friends with, I think would help a lot of people. So, because I always ask, hey,
Yeah.
if you want to talk to me, reach out to me whenever you want. Most people don't though, because they're kind of nervous. They don't want to ask bad questions, which isn't a thing, right? That's what I'm here for. But I totally get it. Like if you have a friend who is also interested like within trading, you should definitely trade with them and like bring them along with you like during the journey, because just having someone that you trust that you could talk to about all those mistakes that you make when you're emotional, when you lose on
Yeah.
bad trades, helps you work through it and helps you kind of just not revenge trade like you said.
That's
um
it. Yeah, having that friend is so important. Like, for me, it's a few people, and Sean M is one of them, and I'll usually give him an update like at 10:15, 10:30 on how my morning is going. And if he if he doesn't hear from me, he starts to say, "Hey, what's going on?" Or, "I hope you're not getting yourself into a hole here,"
yeah, he's a great
So
guy.
that, yeah. So it's quite important. And For me, I have been working on a little bit of content here and there. It's a project that's been going on for, it's been delayed for way too long, but obviously been busy focusing on my own trading. But yeah, like to have like some kind of add-on mini course. So like when people, they go through your course, or they get your course, and then at the end it's like, do you want to learn a little bit about short selling? You could say yes if you want to add this.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I'm still working on. At the time, I wasn't showing my face, but now that I'm showing my face, I could have little videos on the bottom corner of
Yeah.
me actually talking through those presentations rather than it just being audio. So
Mm-hmm.
I think for 2021, it's something that I want to spend a little bit more time on. I was looking at the slides, and some of them were dated because I started working on that quite a while ago. So
And that's
uh,
the hardest thing, because my knowledge is always kind of evolving and not really getting outdated in the sense that like it's false info, but like
yeah, it still
lots of things that
works.
you don't really need to focus on a lot. So as I've been working on like the new like course that I've been making, because I've been taking so long to make it, I'll read over it, be like, well, that's not really useful info anymore. Like who cares about that piece? So then I have to like rework that. But I am, I think the main thing that will kind of help me get motivated into finishing that course is I'm going to be moving into a new place
Nice.
in the next 2 months here. So I think with like the change of scenery and like being in a new office will probably help me, you know, really say, okay, it's time to get this thing done. It's been far too long. Let's make this new course and get it finalized. So my goal for sure is I want to have it out by the end of 2021. I said the same thing back in 2020. I failed that goal. I'm sorry, but I will do my best to make sure I get at least, some of it out. Just make sure I have some recording done and either
Yeah.
like have half of it up and then other half later on, but definitely need to get it done because people want it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the change of scenery definitely will help. It's helped me. This is my new
Oh yeah,
office battle
you've been doing
station
good.
here. Yeah, and yeah. Besides that, I mean, in the month of May, we're going to be recording some more podcasts. Just so everybody knows, we are working on getting some kinds of guests, and uh, we will have a professional, someone who trades for a living and who's been doing very well for a couple of years now. Someone that I learned from very much so, in the sense of approaching with a certain mindset and discipline. This guy lost like 100 pounds. Just, it takes a lot of discipline for
Yeah,
someone to do that. And
that's awesome.
I learned some tape reading techniques, and that mentality where it's like, you don't need to sit in front of the screens for 8 hours. You could make a good trade that takes less than an hour and then go enjoy your day. I really learned that from this trader. So it's pretty much confirmed. So we'll hopefully get that going in May.
That would be an awesome one to do, because I don't know anything about tape trading. You know, it's not my specialty at all. So I would love to pick his brain about that, because something I could definitely use probably in my trading. Looking forward to that for sure. Anyways, I think we're all wrapped up here.
Yes, sir.
Wherever you're listening, make sure that you follow the podcast, whether it's on YouTube, on Spotify. It should be up on Apple soon too, so you can watch it there as well, or listen to it there as well. If you have any recommendations for people that you want interviewed or topics to talk about, you can just reach out to us on social media, leave a comment on YouTube, or just hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, and hit up anyone that you would want to be a guest, because we'd love to have anyone that's a trader on this show. So thank you so much for your time, my daily gains, and we'll see you on Monday in the room, and then we'll see you in the next episode of the podcast.
Thanks again, and looking forward to being back on Monday and see everybody there.